On offense, intelligent masculinity, number 5. The discipline to stand up for our actions and values, by Nick Perro on Sick of This Shit Publications. There is a mistake that well-intentioned men often make when rejecting fragile masculinity. They retreat. They soften their language. They avoid conflict. They speak carefully, quietly, defensively. In this process, they are trained to confuse restraint with passivity. That mistake is no longer sustainable, and in truth, it is actively harmful. Intelligent masculinity is not merely a response to bad masculinity. It is a replacement for it. And replacements do not necessarily win by being polite, and replacements never win by being timid. Fragile masculinity thrives when intelligent men stay reactive, consuming the void left by timidity, feeding on grievance, certainty, and spectacle, while it advances precisely because it goes on offense, while others hesitate. This outdated, reactionary masculinity does not wait to be invited. It is insidious, seeking to insert itself when not wanted, recruited by shifting blame and removing accountability from the source, intentionally normalizing harm through the repetition of dominance over growth through stewardship. When intelligent masculinity limits itself to critique and explanation without concerted action, it willingly cedes ground, leaving space for louder, simpler, more dishonest narratives to dominate men who are searching for meaning, direction, and belonging. This is why neutrality is not a virtue. Silence is a position, and our absence is a gift to the worst actors in the room. Going on offense does not mean becoming the thing we oppose. Offense has never been the acts of aggression, dominance, humiliation, or coercion. It is not an excuse to engage in rage or cruelty, and it is not a set of strict ideological purity tests. Going on offense means we take the initiative, defining masculinity clearly and publicly before others do it for us. We openly model strength without apology, directly confronting harm as it happens, rather than offering endless explanations. We offer alternatives, intentionally building opportunities instead of only criticizing failures. Where fragile masculinity requires us to wear a mask and fight without any reason, intelligent masculinity demands directed growth and actionable results. Across every conversation in this series, one truth has become unavoidable. Intelligent masculinity is calm, but it certainly is not quiet. It is a discipline that is measured and ethical, while never being hesitant or timid. At its core, intelligent masculinity unapologetically asserts 3 things. 1. Accountability is non-negotiable. Harm does not become acceptable because it was traditional, emotional, popular, or authorized. 2. Strength includes containment. Self-regulation is not optional. Men who cannot govern themselves should not be trusted with power over others. 3. Participation is required. Masculinity is proven in community, in work, family, culture, and conflict, not in the isolation or online performance. These are not mere preferences for masculinity. They are the baseline standards, and standards must be enforced to exist. Going on offense also means being honest about what intelligent masculinity is without centering our identity there. We are against domination masquerading as leadership, grievance framed as purpose, emotional discharge mistaken for honesty, cruelty justified as, quote, truth-telling, and men being trained to fear accountability. Yet, we do not build masculinity against these things. We build it to last, aiming for something. That something is stewardship instead of spectacle, reliability instead of intensity, courage that survives boredom, authority that accepts consequences, and leadership that creates safety. This distinction between against and for matters, and is at the heart of this project. Whereas fragile, reactionary masculinity needs constant enemies to stay coherent, intelligent masculinity does not. If intelligent masculinity is serious about replacing fragile masculinity, it must do the following consistently and publicly. Model. Be the men worth copying, not louder, not purer, just steadier and more openly. Interrupt. Call out dehumanization, misogyny, and domination when they appear, especially among other men. Silence is endorsement. Build. Create spaces, media, language, and community that offer men direction without grievance. Recruit. Stop pretending men will quote-unquote figure it out on their own. Show them something better and invite them into it. Hold the line. Do not water this down to avoid discomfort. Discomfort is not harm. Accountability is not abuse. This is cultural replacement grounded in a lifetime of disciplined growth and understanding, not culture war built on made-up enemies, blameless actions, and shifted accountabilities. This is the way. There is no future where intelligent masculinity wins by being passive. The men most vulnerable to fragile masculinity are not looking for theory. They're looking for practical orientation, a way to understand their power, their anger, their responsibility, and their place in the world. If we fail to offer men and boys a disciplined, ethical, assertive model of masculinity, someone else will offer them a dangerous one. So, this is the shift from explanation to assertion, reaction to initiative, dominance to stewardship, and go from defense to on offense. Intelligent masculinity does not ask for permission to exist. It shows up, sets standards, and lives with the consequences. And you know what? That is strength. This has been a reading of On Offense by Nick Perro on Sick of This Shit Publications. Thanks.